Okay, sitting behind the wheel, in the driver's seat, checking it out, this truck is insane. Absolutely amazing. So I have the seat all the way back. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's a little bit too far back for me. So I basically stick my legs straight out. I have plenty of leg room, plenty of knee room. You can see the doors dished out a little bit, but just overall great room in the vehicle. Okay, so here's the steering wheel. Leather wrap steering wheel. You have the wood at the bottom and the top. So this top portion right here is wood. Then you have the leather, soft to the touch. Really nice. Okay, so on the back of the steering wheel back here is your volume for your radio. You can also, so there's an up and down button right here, and then you have a center button, up, down, center. So as you have your hand here, you can use your fingers in the back. Volume, and the center button is changed through your audio source. On the back on the left side, up and down is either your radio station, your audio tracks, and then the center button cycles through your presets only. Here on the right side of the steering wheel is your cruise control. So it has the normal, set, resume, cancel, all that, but it also has the adaptive cruise control that can be turned on separately, and it sets the speed between you and the vehicle in front of you here. So as you push these buttons, it's going to give you a little indicator here on the screen right here, unless you have it in the center, which I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But right there it shows you the set distance between you and the vehicle in front of you as you adjust it. You can also adjust the gear limit. So this is basically if you need to downshift if you're going downhill. On the left side is your Bluetooth controls, voice recognition, and it has a very advanced voice recognition system. But you can answer, hang up, make calls using this button, or you can use the voice recognition, which is basically kind of the same thing because it goes into the same thing for phone. And then these buttons correspond with that screen between the gauges, which we'll go into detail in just a minute. Turn signal also has your windshield wiper controls. Okay, so let's take a second to enjoy the view of these gauges. So you have the physical gauges on the outside. On the left side is your RPMs with your engine coolant temperature. And check out the filigree and the styling. And it's backlit. Gotta check out my video at night. But just look at that. That filigree on the dial, but also on the actual gauge itself. And on the right side is your speedometer with your fuel gauge. The center portion has a screen, so it's all one screen, and it goes into these sections here. So there's a physical barrier here, but it's actually part of the same screen, and it's highly customizable. So you can change the information on the corners as well as here on the sides. So right now it's showing a digital clock at the top. Here's your digital compass, outside temperature, battery voltage, and your oil pressure. Odometer at the bottom, digital speedometer in the middle, and then you have some information regarding your collision warning systems and your cruise control here. This is your ride height. So this has the air ride suspension. So right now we're at a normal height, not too high, not too low. So let's go ahead and use these buttons here and cycle through. So right now we're going to scroll down. So when I do that, you'll see that this is part of a menu system. So we're in the digital speedometer. It's number 1. Number 2, vehicle info. Now when we're in vehicle info, there's a little status bar at the bottom that fades away after a second, but it shows your tire pressure. But scrolling to the right, we get more information. So this is the air suspension height, coolant temperature, transmission temperature, oil pressure, oil life, battery voltage, and a summary of all the gauges there, as well as your engine hours and how much has been idled versus driven and in total. Scroll down, the driver assist. So this is your adaptive cruise control information here, and depending on your safety features will show up right here. Fuel economy, you have the ability, there's two of them here, so you can reset those independently. There is the current fuel economy shown on this one, but not this one. So you have two trips, trip A and trip B, so you can reset those independently. It shows a miles per gallon, a clock, in addition to just the miles driven. Stop start feature, this shows you the status of that. I recommend turning that off as soon as you get in the vehicle. So here's your towing information, how many miles you've driven towing. It also shows your trailer brake gain control information here. This is just whatever your radio is doing. Storage messages will show up here. Screen setup. This is where you can go in and you can change the things on the corners here. Left side, right side. And you see it illuminates the part is what it's talking about. Current gear, odometer, favorite menus. You can set up different favorites. The center part, you can change that. Upper left, upper right. So you can see it. The idea here is that these are all, let's say we want to change something in the lower right, we just select that and we can go to whatever we want. Let's change that to transmission temperature. So now we got that. Alright, scrolling down again goes back to your digital speedometer. That's kind of a quick rundown of that screen. It has a lot of information there. You don't have to go into it all the time. It's just there in case you need it. Alright, so this dash, it has the some stitching here, slightly contrast in a French design. The wood here, all soft touch here on the top. Soft touch, you have that wood. And this wood it's a exposed grain wood, and it looks fantastic. It's not non-reflective. Another thing about the texture on it, anybody that's used a sawmill, this is what a rough cut board looks like when you have a either a bent tooth or a improperly set blade. It'll give you these lines in it. So this looks exactly, they did a great job with making it look like that, and maybe that's how they made it, I'm not sure, but it looks great. It looks, just gives it character. You have that subtle filigree in there. Okay, so here's your shifter. It's just a knob. Doesn't get in the way very much. It also shares the space with your four-wheel drive controls. And four-wheel drive automatic, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive high, four-wheel drive low. And this is where you turn off the stop start feature. So when you get in the vehicle, I recommend turning that off. This neutral, that's for flat towing. So it disconnects the drive system. For what I understand, I've never tried that. I don't have any experience with that, but that's what it does. That metallic, looks like brushed aluminum there on the sides, and the gold. Up here you have a storage pocket with a 12-volt power supply. Kind of alligator skin type stuff going on up there. Alright, so this screen is massive and it looks awesome. Now the mixture of kind of old school country style with the technology, I love it. I love it. Okay, so the shifter, we're going to go ahead and put it in reverse. And when we do that, the backup camera shows here on the screen. So not only is it a backup camera, but it's a full top view around the truck. So there's not really anything close to me right now, but as you move and as Let me go ahead and open the door. So you can see as I open this door, it blacks off that side because the camera is being moved now. So when I close it, it just gives you that view. So that way you don't have some, you know, wonky view when you open up the door. But this gives you the view from the top down. It stitches together all these cameras around the vehicle. So right now it's showing the backup camera. We can get more wide view. We can get in front of the truck, and we can get in the front and the top view at the same time. We can also go back to the backup camera. Now those are active guidelines which you can turn on or off, and they turn as I turn the steering wheel to give us a estimated trajectory of backing up. So that's what happens when you put it in reverse. You get a really good camera system. And then there's neutral, and then there's drive. So it's just that simple. Okay, so this screen, let's go into more detail here. So the four-way flashes are here at the top. This right here is your parking system. So this has the ability to self-park. So when you turn that on and you're in a parking lot and you put your turn signal on a particular space that you're trying to get, it'll scan and try to find you a good parking spot. So turning this on, you'll have to turn it on to turn on the active park sense is what it's called. And then this is a lane departure warning, or lane sense. So it basically tells you if you're, you know, moving off the lane. It'll also correct your steering as well as you're sliding if you're going off the lane or whatever. You can't, it just won't drive itself. So you do have to hold on to the steering wheel. If you let go for too long, it's gonna kind of beep at you and disengage the system. Okay, so here on the outside is your climate control. This is your driver and passenger, and they could be set independently. Front and rear defrosters, recirculate the air, fan speed, and where you want the air to blow is all on there on the sides. It's easy to get to, and it's on the appropriate side. And also it's relatively high up, so as you're looking at the road, you look at here, it's easy to go back and forth with that without putting your eyes on the screen. Now you can adjust it on the screen. Okay, so down here is your volume tuned through the stations. That's pretty traditional. It seems like people have to have that volume knob. When they've taken it away in vehicles, people tend to not like it. You have a mute. You can also turn the screen off if you just want to turn it off. Okay, so right now I have the whole screen is being covered with the map from the navigation system. Just to give you an idea of the size of the screen. It goes all the way from here down to here. So portions of this is black, so it kind of blends in a little bit. But massive screen, it looks good, the resolution's great, and very impressive when you get in the vehicle. Okay, so you see these icons across the bottom, and then you see this little house up here. So the little house takes you to a home screen, which is basically a split, and you can set what it's split on. So right now it's the radio and the navigation. So the navigation is asking you to put an address, but we don't want to put an address, we just want to see the map, so we just swipe right to the map. You can always swipe back to put in a particular address. So that's the home screen, is you can just set whatever you want on these two things. If you want to have, let's say you want to take away the map and you want to put the climate control there, you can put it there. So now it's a split between these two. So that's the home screen. So you can customize it, and real easy to use, but it kind of splits up an otherwise, you know, large screen into two separate kind of screens. But using the icons, you can push these buttons here. So we push the media, and now it's utilizing the full screen for the media. So you have your presets there at the top, and audio source, and different search and different information there, and has the large icon for whatever's playing. There's different categories, favorites, things like that you can go into. Okay, so the controls. Now this one has the ability to turn on it has a high, medium, and low, so it's a 3-phase heated and ventilated seat, and on and off heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seat for the passenger, has an electronic dimmer rearview mirror, which I'll show you that in a minute, but you can turn that feature off here. The steps, it's a power step, we can turn that off if you need to. Backup camera, we can go into look at that without putting it in reverse. And the same thing with the surround camera. We can look at that without putting it in reverse. Alright, so the next icon, and it kind of works as like a computer. You see a little X up here, so we can take that away if we want to. Now we go to climate, and now it fills up the whole screen with the climate control. So you have the choices there at the top. And I like the background. It's like a leather looking background. And then it shows where the air is blowing, so you can make quick choices. It's real easy to see, so we're going to choose that one. We can sync both the driver and the passenger as well, adjust the fan speed and the temperatures there on the side. The center icon here is your apps. So you have Travel Link, which is awesome. I'll have to make a special video for Travel Link because this really has a lot of features. And then your different options here, surround camera, all these things. You can swipe here and get more of them. So these icons, you can replace the ones down here. So right now we have we have the nav here. So let's say we want to replace nav with Travel Link. So let's just grab Travel Link, hold it, and slide it down to that nav position and let go. So now it's going to replace the navigation with the Travel Link icon. So now if we want to go back to the navigation, we just find nav and we put it back there like so. So that way we can customize the features that we want to use all the time down here at the bottom. That's easy to get to, or you could just hit the apps and go to any one you want. The next is the navigation screen. That's the first one I had up, and it has a large map here. We can put it in a specific address. We can save addresses. We can have favorites. We can look for emergency, things like that. Let's go to nav settings, because right now it's showing a triangle there. But let's go to map appearance and change the vehicle icon. We can have a blue arrow. We can have a red arrow. We can have a yellow hexagon for whatever reason. Or we can have a truck. And I think I like the truck because that's what we're in. And it shows which way we're facing and all that stuff with the truck. And we can do the pinch zoom and pinch zoom out as much as we want. And the names will self-adjust depending on how zoomed in we are. The next icon is your phone. We don't want to pair a phone right now, but once we do pair a phone, we'll have access to your phone book, recent calls. We can send and receive calls. We can also pair up to 6 phones, and it'll be in a priority system depending on which one you want priority over the other one. So depending on who's driving the vehicle, you can go ahead and pair everybody's phone, and whoever's driving it, their phone will work. Alright, so now we can always push this and go to this backup camera. So that icon was already put there, so if you want to just look behind you or whatever, you can do that. You can also zoom in. So if you're backing up to a trailer, right there in the center, it's going to zoom into that spot. So you can see right there, that's where it zooms in. So you're backing up and you can keep an eye on that a little bit better. Alright, so yeah, this is a very impressive screen. It has that vertical orientation. This helps out with if you have a navigation screen. You're driving and you're looking at a navigation map. The road is going this way. You're following, and it's following the road, so it's going this way. So you have more view of what's in front of you with a horizontally orientated, like a 16:9, sideways widescreen style screen. Then you're much more limited. So this right here, having this orientation and the size, gives you that much better view with the navigation map. And it's just handy to have a larger screen. You can do more with it. You can see easier. Things can be bigger, and you can also have split screens. So you can have more information in the same spot. Another thing about the screen is that it's not showing anything with this particular thing, so that's why I want to mention it. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities, but you do have to plug in your phone, appropriate phone, and it will pop up here on the screen. So without one plugged in, you're not really going to see anything. Now you can check out my channel on how to get started with Apple CarPlay, and I'll eventually make one on Android Auto. So that way it shows you how to get started. But it's as simple as plugging your phone into the USB port or USB-C, depending on your device, and it will instantly pop up, and it'll give you a lot of the features that your phone is capable of, but on the bigger screen. Okay, so down here is your trailer brake gain control, vehicle height from your air ride suspension. This is your traction control. Default will be on. You can always turn it off here. Your tow and haul mode, parking for rear, and parking sensors for your front. So you can turn those on or off independently. So down here is a CD player. To the right of that is 2 USB ports and an auxiliary input, and right above the USB ports there's little connections. So those are USB-C's connections. So charging your cell phone or accessing the system here. Okay, so down here there's like a little spot right here, and you can put a pin or whatever, but it's really handy for running the wires from your phone over to the system here. So they thought this out a lot. Since it has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, let me slide this back. You will need to have it plugged in the whole time. And considering that, they have places for your phone to actually clip in here. So your phone, once you put it in there, it has a spot for wire to stick out the bottom here and here. And it is secure, very secure when you put your phone in there. And right here is a wireless pad. So you just put your phone there that has the wireless capability, and it'll charge it. And here on the right side, it just clips in. But even if it's wirelessly charging, you still have to connect it to the system. So what you do is you run the wire this way. You can either go on the left or the right, and it has a little spot behind this rubberized part here to run the wire to those ports. So that way the wires are not in the way as much. You can also tuck them under here. It's really just a really great and well thought out system for having your cell phones right there close to you. You can look down, you can glance at it. It can be wirelessly charging. It can be charging on this if your phone doesn't have wireless charging. And it also is a really great spot to put it when you're using the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So this is fantastic. So down there is an outlet like you'd find in your house. It's a power inverter, so that you can actually plug in devices there if you need to. You can charge a laptop or whatever. Like literally you can put a laptop down here, plug it in and charge it. That kind of thing. It has a rubberized bottom portion. You can take this out. You can see a little tab here to pick it up and pull it out and clean it and put it back in. But there's lots of room under here. And this slides. And this goes all the way, and I'll show you the other side in a second, but this slides forward like so. And there's that wood. You can see the filigree gold. Just a very impressive looking vehicle. The accents are just unbelievable. Okay, so this opens up, and there's your cup holders. And this has a rubberized portion in here that's removable, and you can clean it out, put it back in. It's not easy to, it's pretty tight in there, but you can get it out. And then this opens up, and you have a storage compartment. It has a felt lining, and it has little places to put coins. Now the only issue I've actually had an issue with this felt in another vehicle. Eventually start kind of breaking loose and getting everywhere. So I don't know if they solved that problem in this particular vehicle, but that's one issue I would say that might potentially be just a small inconvenience. Alright, so this center armrest is unbelievable. It's very impressive looking. So you have the smooth portions over here, the stitching, kind of an alligator type skin looking pattern going on. It's very big. You can share it with your passenger. And then you have the Longhorn badging here in the center, brushed. It's like a metal, or feels like a metal. It might be plastic, but it feels like metal. It's nice. And your cup holders in the back are also accessible, easy to get to here in the front with your tablet holder, and just an easy spot to access. Okay, so this lifts up, and we have a storage compartment here and a USB charge port. And you notice it has spots right here for wires to go in and out on both sides. This whole thing lifts up, and then you have some information on the bottom, which is handy in case you're working and you need to convert something or measure something or whatever. And then this is the back portion of the storage compartment. So the storage compartment is wide open at the bottom, and you have a little divider there with trucks on it. This little divider flips up like so. And you can see this, how this moves forward and back. And it doesn't rattle. It locks in place. It's not sliding on you. You pull it back, snap it here, pull it back, snap it there. So every position is very tight. Even between positions it's very tight, but it will move a little bit until it snaps into place, and it doesn't move at all. It's solid. So one thing I can't stand is things rattling in a vehicle or loose or moving around, but you don't have that problem here. Okay, so the rear view mirror, it's a power dimmer switch. And we saw it doesn't have any buttons on it or anything, so it just automatically dims at nighttime. And you saw on the screen how to turn it on and off. So up here is a place to put your shades, and it has the felt lining here and here, all in there. Tap lights here. You turn on all your interior lights by pushing that button. Have them all on by opening up the door by having that engaged. So that's off, but that's on. So see, it says off right there. So when the light's on, that means it's off. So that's the off light. This is to lower the tailgate, which is pretty cool. You can also, this has its own wireless connection, 4G connection, I think it is. So you can access roadside assistance and emergency numbers here. At nighttime, there's a little ambient light. Let me see if I can turn the lights on. And can't do it right now, but at nighttime there's a little ambient light. You got to check out my night video on this, on a truck like this. But anyways, it has a little ambient light in the middle. So this is for your these three right here are for your sunroof. So it has a huge panoramic sunroof, and this is your sliding rear glass. Well, let's start off with the sunroof. Actually, before we get to that, visor. It is a cloth covered visor. It has mirrors and lights. Has a little clip right here. You also have your garage door, your HomeLink garage door opening controls, and another clip there. It also slides out on a metal rod. Same thing on the passenger side. Okay, so huge sunroof. So right now it has a shade that's covered up 100% of the light. So we don't have any light coming in now. Sometimes you just don't want any light coming in, and this gives you that ability. So let's go ahead and open up the shade. So we push the button and hold it, and it'll go ahead and open up for us. It goes to that point, push it again, it goes the rest of the way. All right, so now we can tilt it up and vent it. Close that, and now we can open it up. Push it again, it goes a little bit further back. If you just push it one time it'll close automatically, but if you push it and hold it and then let go, it'll stop wherever you let go. Alright, so let's use this button to check out the visibility in the back, but also the power sliding rear glass. Pretty quick. Now I have one headrest up, one headrest down, so you can see what the visibility looks like with either one. And overall, really good. I mean, for a truck, this is really good. And I like the fact that they move those hooks there on the side instead of across the back, so that way you don't have clothes hanging and covering up the rear glass there. All right, so there you have it. Very excited about this truck. It's very impressive. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Vann Underwood. And before I let you go, we got to look at the window sticker, because I promised. So there's the base price, basic information about it, standard equipment, interior features. You can use the pause button to read it if you like. Exterior features, and then the optional equipment. So the optional equipment is where you see the prices next to each one that adds to the base price. And then you have the updated base price, warranty information, fuel economy. Safety ratings will be on the website, I suppose. All right, so there you have it. 2019 Longhorn. Unbelievable truck. Really excited. This is one of those vehicles that I just basically just lost for words sometimes, because I'm in awe. And it's just an amazing truck. But anyways, I really like these trucks, and you know, kind of biased on that. So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you to Vann Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina, for providing the vehicle for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.